Maybe this should have won Whiskey of the Year.
It should have, right?
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Welcome to Whiskey and SV. I'm your host Sam, and tonight we'll be drinking some Dewar's 21 Double Series. And tonight I'm joined by my esteemed guest Tam.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Thank you, Tam. So Tam brought over this bottle, which he recently acquired from Costco. And Dewar's usually at Costco you can buy the 18-year for like $50.
Yeah.
This was significantly more, but still, given that it's a 21-year age statement and has a very interesting finishing, is a pretty excellent price. Right? I think it was like $125, and now it's on sale for
$90.
$90. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's important to talk a little bit about why this whiskey is special. Maybe let me actually show this to the camera. So that there's a series of different finishing, and we'll put a picture up. But you want to explain what this is?
Yeah. So individually, they start out their lives as single grain barrels and single malt barrels, and then all the single grain barrels will be blended together into a single grain barrel, blended grain barrel, and then all the single malts barrels will be blended together into a blended malt barrels, and then from there they blend the two malts and grains together into one barrel, and then also they finish within that one barrel the special finish that they have, which for this case is the Mizunara oak cask.
So I guess it's important to talk about like what is the difference between a single malt versus a blend, right?
Yeah.
So single malt whiskey is basically a whiskey that has been produced only from barley and only from a single distillery. The single means it's from a single distillery.
Yeah.
So it could be different age statements. It could be different. I guess the mash bill has to be malt, because that's what malt whiskey is in Scottish terms.
Yes.
But it's not allowed to have grains, right?
Yes.
That's the difference.
Exactly.
One of the main differences. And with blended Scotch whiskey, it's this combination of single malts, could be from different distilleries, and then there's also grain whiskey in there. And what is grain whiskey is anything other than basically barley, right?
Yep.
Do we know what is typically the grain that's used in Scotland? I actually don't know. Yeah,
I actually don't know. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Okay, so this one has it doesn't say what the proportions are, but there's single malts, there's single grains, and then they're blended all together, meaning they're all from a bunch of different distilleries, and then those are all blended together, and then they go inside Mizunara casks. Cool. All right. I mean, that's good to know, but I guess what matters in the end is what it tastes like, right?
Yep. This is the hardest bottle to pour out of, by the
way. All right. So we've been doing a few episodes tonight because I'm going to be traveling soon, so I'm trying to catch up on episodes, and Tam's been a good sport here, supporting the episodes. So. Okay, cool. Let's see about this. So the tasting notes on this, it says sandalwood, coconut, creamy vanilla, silky smooth finish. Now, I have to say, the sandalwood and the coconut and the creamy vanilla are
very prominent.
Pretty, yeah. This is definitely like a well-described, a good description of what this smells like on the nose.
Yeah. And sandalwood is a very particular flavor profile or note profile, because that's usually from the Mizunara cask. You don't usually get it on regular scotches.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Interesting. I really like this nose. It's really complex. It has, there's tropical fruits are just like abound on this.
Yep.
I get no brine. I get no peat.
Yeah. It is very different from a lot of other scotches.
Yeah. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. That's a really, really good whiskey.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people look down on blended whiskey.
Yes.
But I'm definitely not one of those people. I think there's a place in the world for blended whiskey, and especially if the grains happen to be corn, then gets a little bit closer to bourbon.
Yeah.
And I've been going down the bourbon rabbit hole, so this is a great flavor profile. I would say it's different on the nose. I don't really get like the same tropical fruits that I was getting on the nose, but it's very fruit forward for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The maltiness is there.
And it has just a slight bit of peat.
Interesting. I do perceive a little bit of a peat on the palate, but I perceive nothing on the nose.
Yeah, no peat on the nose, all on the palate.
Well, you're right. On the palate, I get that little bit of the earthiness
Yeah.
that you get from peat usually.
Yeah. But this peat doesn't grip your tongue, and it's less of an ashy feeling and more of like a gentle, dusty feeling.
Yeah, it's very very slight for sure.
Yeah.
We have a common friend who is very sensitive to peat, and recently I had him try the Bruichladdich 18.
Oh.
And the Bruichladdich 18 is supposed to be not peated, but even for me, who I'm not super, I would say, sensitive to peat, but I could definitely pick up the peat on it. So
Yeah.
And it's funny because I posted that you get peat on the nose, and I got like a lot of comments on YouTube that it's supposed to be not peated, and like why are you smelling peat? But they must have like some contamination. Okay, so this is a great whiskey. I think $4.95. It is a steal given the specs.
Yes.
I definitely would like to go and see if I can get one now.
Make sure you get one before you post this video.
Right. Okay. I think the thing you mentioned was that the Glengassaugh SandEnd was something that's similar to this. Now, this whiskey won the some massive like
Whiskey Advocate's #1 whiskey of the year for 2023. Yeah. And this was number 6 or 7 right here.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So they actually
got the same score of 95.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would say the SandEnd to me was a letdown. I thought it was not that much of a special whiskey. But yeah, let's go ahead and try it side by side. Maybe it's opened up. It's been a while since I opened this. Okay, probably a little bit too much. Need to pace myself. All right, let's try this one. Interesting.
Tropical.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. You're right. Interestingly, when I first opened it and when I first tried a sample that was like of a fresh crack, it was much more frigid, and it had a lot of citrus on it. And when I drank it, it was I don't know, but there was a lot of ginger spice on it.
Yeah.
And the ginger spice was too much. I think it was a little bit acidic in a way that I did not enjoy so much.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with you. When I first opened my SandEnd at home, I actually got a lot of spices. Like they're really astringent and just loves to bite your tongue. And I also got an acetone, a metallic note.
Right.
On the initial opening.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was really off-putting. But now, let's find out.
Yeah, there's still that metallic note. There's that, sharp note about it. It's definitely not smooth.
Yeah.
and usually I cringe at the word when people say a whiskey is smooth. But there's something to be said. I mean, if I'm sitting there and I'm having like, even if I want to pick something apart, I don't necessarily want to pick it apart when it's trying to like attack me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is one of the main reasons why I didn't like the Springbank Palo Cortado, because I felt like it has that like acidic, thing that attacks and doesn't let me enjoy it as much.
I see. Oh.
Going back to this Dewar's.
Yep.
Now that I've smelled this, even though this is like relatively nice, but this again comes across as like very acidic in nature, versus when you go to this, it's warm coconut,
smooth.
Yeah. This is really great.
They weren't kidding on the silky smooth finish, guys.
Yes, definitely a silky smooth. I confirm that this is really the case.
Yes. Please don't go to Costco.
So you sure they still have this?
Yes.
Okay.
How many? I do not know.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if it's something that I want to like necessarily back up, but I would love to have one in the collection, especially at $90. It's really great. But it's also it is really interesting to me that on the nose I don't get any peat, but yes, you're definitely right that on the palate I do perceive the peat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So big thumbs up for the Dewar 21,
Mm-hmm.
and for SandEnd, I think I'm still mostly going, sideways or down. To be honest,
like I can see this one introduce that tropical flavor, tropical note, and it's very different. But you can get the same in this one, but at
much
a
better.
more refined, balance, and enjoyable experience. Maybe
Yep.
this should have won Whiskey of the Year.
It should have, right?
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks again, Tam, for joining us for this episode and for sharing your whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you all for tuning in. If you get a chance to get this Dewar 21, definitely do it. It's a good one. See you next time. Cheers. How can they like age a whiskey for 21 years and sell it at this price with the packaging like that, right? Who's making money? Are they giving this shit away or what?
unbeatable. I'm just like,
It's
I don't know
unbelievable.
how they're making profit off